Calling from a 210 area code. Who's this?
Opportunity to not do that again.
Yeah, it's John from San Antonio. Good afternoon, Sam. How
Hello,
you doing?
John. How are you?
I'm okay.
Big night last night.
So Go ahead.
You go.
Okay, Republican Debbie Lesko won by 5 points in the Arizona 8th District last night. In a district that Trump won by 21 points. So you see the Democratic margin of victory increase to 15 points in the Trump-Clinton metric for federal, House, and Senate special elections. There are 21 seats that Clinton won over Trump where Republicans won those their House seats. I left Pennsylvania out because the redistricting. Currently, it's 12-6 Republicans in Pennsylvania, and there are 8 districts where Clinton won in the new redistricting alignment, including the 1st district, which Mindy's in, and the 7th district, which Mike from PA is in, and also Democrat Matt Cartwright won a district that Trump won by 10 points. He's also in a new district that Trump won by 10 points. And also Conor Lamb will probably win also. So now there's 21 districts that Clinton won, where a House Republican representative also won in that district, and there are 5 additional seats where I think they're going to pick up in PA. So that brings their total to 11. And I know I was skeptical of Mike's opinion, but it's looking that way. And so that
You'll still
leads
throw it out on them,
to
though, right?
26 seats right there. They need 23 to take over the House.
Right.
Now,
I saw this stat, which I thought was fascinating. There are 147 GOP-held House seats, less Republican than Arizona's 8 last night. And not only was there a 15-point swing, it is not an apples-to-apples comparison, because my understanding is that the Democrat was outspent both in terms of like what the campaign spent and outside expenditures, like, I don't know, 2-1, 3-1. I mean, there was a lot more money on the Republican side. Doesn't seem like the Democrats contested it that much.
Yeah, I mean, the DCCC didn't put in any money in at all. So, that's correct. So I'm just going to try to give you like the races that Trump only won by less than 5 points. There are 10 races like that, or less than 5.1, and then there are 34 races where Trump won by less than 10.1, and then there are 66 races by 15 points, and then I guess what that jump to 145, I guess, is the 21 points that he won by. But, I mean, either way, I mean, I know a lot of people are skeptical. I know you had a caller the other day who was skeptical. And, I mean, the generic ballot is tightening. But, I mean, these races are a very much an indication of how things are going. And you see it all over the country, and you get very similar results no matter where you go to. Like the numbers were very similar to South Carolina's 5th district, to Montana's at-large district, and so I just see this. There's just so much evidence that this is going to happen.
I mean,
and
I tend to agree with you, but again, it is. You just don't know. Are we? Is this race a lagging indicator of for whatever reason? It's hard to imagine the dynamics changing distinctly between now and then, but who knows, right? I mean, large-scale terrorist attack. Who knows what the implications of something like that are? I mean,
couldn't have said it better myself.
Right, exactly. I mean, but yes, there's reason to be hopeful, I guess.
Okay, on Monday you talked about work requirements for food stamps in Wisconsin.
Yep.
And so recently there have been 3 states that have put work requirements on Medicaid, requirements in Arkansas, Kentucky, and Indiana, and there are 10 more states that are considering them. And there's an article today that came out in Truth Out by Michael Corcoran called Medicaid Work Requirements, Trump's War on the Poor Expands One State at a Time. And he talks about how, Trump signed this executive order on April 10th, which advocates for more workforce programs to do
They're basically
across the social programs.
They're basically getting a waiver on Obamacare from Health and Human Services to add these restrictions to Medicaid.
Right. And I mean, I just want to express how incredibly cruel this is for people who have had mental health problems. And, I know there's been times in my life where my mental health problems were so bad where I literally couldn't work. I mean, people have severe problems, and some people just make bad decisions in life. But, I mean, the government should not, spit on these people and, act like they're worthless. I mean, their lives have meaning. And what you were talking about the other day when you were defining, what socialism is, I agree with all that stuff. People should have a right to health care, first of all. I mean, they should have a right to have shelter, food, water. I mean, all of these basic things. And, I also believe that they should have a right to education, not just, K through 12, but the university education. So I just see this, going in the other way, and it's not being talked about enough. And here's one quote from Sarah Rosenbaum, an expert on Medicaid at George Washington University. People on Medicaid often live very hard lives. Seema Verma wants to make it harder. She doesn't understand Medicaid as a public health system, yet she is breaking with more than 50 years of long-standing policy.
Of course.
So,
I mean, the idea that, I suppose it's conceivable. There is a handful of people out of literally the millions of people on Medicaid whose lives are not in a difficult situation. I mean, the idea that people would I would prefer to have this life or an easier life and not, but I don't want to give it up because of my Medicaid. It's just absurd. It's absurd. It's twisted. And I don't know that anybody believes it. I mean, I just think it's and to the extent that they do, it is a belief that they want to embrace, so that they don't have to question the level of cruelty that they're expressing or executing. Appreciate the call, John. Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, Sam.